Namaste everyone, my name is Medha. Welcome to the Arsha Samyoga YouTube channel. A lot of spiritual seekers have this notion that to be spiritual means to be desireless. If I'm on the spiritual path, then I cannot entertain any desires. Today I want to challenge this notion and examine it. As long as you have a mind, you will have thoughts, and some of those thoughts are bound to be desires. But when spiritual seekers get desires, they tend to feel guilty and they wonder how to get rid of these desires. Now, desire is what propels any action. It is the driving force behind any action, including spirituality. Even a desire to be spiritual is a desire nonetheless. And yet, on the other hand, we say that this desire is an obstacle to spirituality. So there seems to be some kind of contradiction here, right? So to resolve this conflict, we need to understand what are the negative consequences of desire. Now this desire has two babies. The first baby is greed, when the desire is fulfilled. When the desire is fulfilled, what happens? The next desire comes, and another, and another, and another, endlessly, and it just goes on. There is no end in sight to this, right? And each desire is only bigger than the last. It is like a fire. The more you feed the fire, the bigger and bigger it gets. And one day finally, the greed overtakes the reasoning, and one takes illegitimate or illegal paths to fulfill the desires. This is a slippery slope and it's just downhill from here. It can be quite dangerous. So this endless pursuit of desires, this endless greed has no satisfaction. In fact, it only leads to misery. The second baby of desire is anger. When I don't get what I want, when the desire is not fulfilled, then there is frustration. It upsets me. It's like, sizzling, it's like splashing some drops of water onto the fire, and the fire sizzles and a lot of smoke is produced. It's the same in the mind. The unfulfilled desire has the potential to upset my mind. It causes turbulent emotions and it disturbs me. Now, suppose I remove the negative consequences of desire. Suppose I get rid of that. Then is desire a bad thing? No. Then desire is just a positive propelling force that pushes you to achieve things. It is like motivation or inspiration. So the question comes, how to remove the negative consequences of desire? By converting it from a binding desire to a non-binding desire. When it is a non-binding desire, then you can safely keep it. There is no need for any guilt or any fear, because a non-binding desire does not have the potential to upset you. You are no longer a slave to that desire. So now what makes a binding desire binding? What is that binding factor? The binding factor is the expectation of success, or the unreasonable expectation of success all the time. That is the main problem. Attachment to the idea of success. This expectation that I will succeed is what gives birth actually to the anger and to the greed. Suppose you look at greed. In the stock market, when somebody invests, there is an expectation that maybe I can make some money, maybe I can make some more money. And this expectation is what builds the greed and propagates it. And the same expectation is the cause for anger also. Because when I don't get what I expected, it upsets me. I get frustrated. I get angry. So now the question comes, should I get rid of the expectation then? No, well, that's not really practical. It's not practical to get rid of expectations because expectation is the very purpose of an activity. It defines the very structure of any activity. It is not useful, nor is it possible to get rid of the expectation of an activity. So, then how do I deal with it? So, the problem is not the expectation of success. The problem is the non expectation of failure. We tend to forget that this venture could fail. There is a blind eye turned towards the notion of failure. The idea of failure falls into my blind spot, and because I neglect it, I am not prepared for it when it happens. So, the problem is never about expecting success. It is the fact that I don't expect failure or I'm not prepared for failure. We need to realize that there are several factors that affect the outcome of any activity that I pick up. Of course, there is my own effort, but there are so many other factors that are out of my control also. And so it could go either way. Either it could succeed or it could fail. Get used to this notion. Be okay if the desire doesn't materialize. Accept whatever happens gracefully, move on, and don't give up. Now, an interesting question arises. Is the state of desirelessness impossible then? So, desirelessness is very much possible and it will eventually come, but it cannot be forced and there are no shortcuts to it. And suppression or denial of active desires is definitely not an option. It only backfires. This true desirelessness is born out of maturity. For example, I don't desire for my Barbie dolls anymore. Why? Because they do not give me the happiness anymore and I outgrew them. So, in the same way, when you apply this to all the objects in the world and you realize that there is no object that can complete you, or when you realize that you lack nothing and no acquiring can ever change that, then you are moving towards a state of true desirelessness. In the meantime, convert the binding desire to a non-binding desire. Make it a preference, and then it is as good as being desire free. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you.